Hey guys, I am gonna make tamales tonight for dinner. So let me show you how I make my red pork tamales. I have my pork. You can use whatever pork you want. This is pork butt, I believe. I'm gonna go ahead and wash this, and then we're gonna cut this up into chunks. Just cut up, this is about the size that I cut my meat. So we're gonna go ahead and just put it into the pan or the pot. I am cooking this in the Instapot, but you can do it on the stove top. It just takes a little bit longer to cook. I'm gonna add 1 medium onion, add a whole head of garlic, 4 bay leaves. I have my seasoning, so I have 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. I have 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I have 2 teaspoons of allspice. I have 5 cloves, and then I have about a tablespoon of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and just add this to the meat. And then we're gonna go ahead and cover this with water. And then we'll go ahead and get our Instapot started. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cover this. And then we are gonna do a high pressure cooker for 55 minutes. 3 chilies, 20 chili guajillos. Make sure you remove the seeds. This is optional, but I am gonna add 4 arbol peppers if you want a little bit of spicier tamales. So I'm gonna add that. Okay, next we're gonna add 12 tomatillos. You want to peel the skin off. Once you peel the skin off, you are going to wanna rinse them all because they do get really sticky. Go ahead and fill this up with water. Cook this until our peppers and our tomatoes are soft. Transfer all my peppers and my tomatoes into a blender cup. We're gonna add 4 cups of the water that we used to boil the peppers. Go ahead and add 7 garlic cloves. Add 1½ teaspoons of cumin. Add 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. I am gonna add about 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna go ahead and blend this all together. This is all done. We're gonna go ahead and strain it. I went ahead and removed the pork from my Instapot. We're gonna go ahead and get this shredded up. And this is super tender. You really only need a fork. Now you're gonna want to reserve 6 cups of your pork broth. We're just gonna set that to the side. The leftover broth, I'm just gonna add a little bit to the bottom of this pan. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add our pork. Go ahead and just slowly add in the red sauce. Just mix that around. And then we're just gonna let this get nice and warm. So I would say we'll probably cook this for about 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna set this to the side. Add 1.5 cups of lard. You can either use a hand mixer or a stand-up mixer, whatever you have. We're gonna go ahead and cream together the lard for a few minutes. Then we're gonna add 5 teaspoons of baking powder. Next, we need 6 cups of masa and 6 cups of our pork broth. I'm gonna add, I did reserve 1 cup of the red sauce, so I'm gonna add this in, and then we have our pork broth. I like to add 1 cup at a time, and you can either use a hand mixer, a stand-up mixer, you can use your hands, whatever you want, but we need to take our time with this because the biggest thing with tamales is you want a good consistency to make sure you don't want it too dry, but you don't want it too moist either. So we're gonna do one thing at a time. So first I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of masa and then 1 cup of our broth, and we'll repeat the process. Okay, I'm gonna add 1 cup of masa, and then I'm gonna add 1 cup of the broth, and then I'm gonna just use my wooden spoon, and I'm gonna go ahead and just mix this all up. And we're gonna continue the process until we get to 6 cups total of masa, 6 cups of broth. Okay, our masa is all done. I went ahead and used my stand-up mixer, and I mixed it for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you're using just a hand mixer, then I would say probably 20 to 25 minutes you want to mix your masa. And I did use 6 cups of masa, and I ended up using 5 cups of broth, pork broth. I got the corn husks. I put it in some hot water and just let it sit just so it gets a little bit more soft. I let that sit for about 30 minutes. So my corn husks are ready to go. For your filling, you want to use the soft side, and you can fill it with your fingers, and this is kind of like the rough side. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the masa. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put it like this. You can use your hands, you can use a spoon, you can use whatever you want. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add our filling, and we're gonna put it right in the middle. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is we're gonna fold it over like this, and then there you go. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my steamer pot. This is what it looks like. And I'm gonna just put a couple of corn husks down on the bottom, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my tamales in my pot. It's done, so we're gonna go ahead and steam this for about 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay, our red pork tamales are all done. So this is how you know if your tamales are done, is you don't want the masa to be stuck to the actual corn husk. So that's what it looks like. Okay, there we go. And that's what it looks like. And as you can see, like right in the middle, there's your pork filling. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. If you have any questions, just let me know.